Hello and welcome back to the Moss Rods channel. I haven't been posting a lot recently because I haven't been doing a lot with models for the last couple months. Things have just kind of slowed down as life has decided to be a bit more demanding than it has the last couple months, so I haven't really found myself building. And I also haven't really been doing a lot of shopping, but I just got back from a pretty decent haul, so I figured I'd go ahead and make a video so I had something to put out. So we'll do a little bit of a haul. The vast majority of these came from one sale, but I did get one thing from the hobby shop, which I guess I'll go ahead and show off. And also, just to pay a little bit of attention to what's on your screen right now, this is the Mobius 67 Ford F100 that I built quite a few years ago now. Hopefully it caught your attention at the beginning of the video. I'll probably do a video on it at some point in the future, but for now, let's move on to the haul. So, went to the model meeting for my local club last month, or I guess a couple weeks ago, and they managed to get the new Mobius Galaxy Chevy kits in stock. So I managed to grab one of the coupes. This is the only one I was missing. I have all the other releases from the Galaxy days. I have two of the sedans. I also just happen to have one. Ooh. Right here. I also picked up a panel maybe earlier this summer. I think I got one at a yard sale or something. And then I grabbed this at the hobby shop. And yeah, so I'm glad I now have the full collection. And I was thinking, I don't ever do box stock builds, and I don't ever do stuff based on the box art. But this is such a cool vibe right here. This blue one with the scallops. That is a really cool build, so I'm almost half tempted to build that. Maybe spice it up a little bit. I was thinking maybe instead of the black wheels, do some, like, I don't know, metallic copper or something. I don't know. But who knows if I'll ever build it, but it's rare for me to actually look at a box art and think, wow, I actually want to build it like that. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Also, do apologize. I'm currently dealing with a bit of allergy spike, and a local wildfire is not really helping with that. So if my voice sounds a little congested, that is why. Pollen and smoke. Gotta love summer. Alright, so the real haul today came from a estate sale place. So I feel like I may have mentioned this in a previous video, but last year there was a local estate clear-out company, whatever you want to call it, that got a large collection of thousands of model kits. And I went and I picked up, I want to say like 8 of them, maybe 10, something like that. I think it was closer to 8. And really cool stuff. By the time I got there, it was already quite picked over. I think I was on like day 2 or 3 of the sale. But still managed to get some really cool grabs just because of how many kits there were. Like, I'm not exaggerating. There were probably about 5,000 to 6,000 kits there. And so, like, it was possible to come on a later date and still, like, do some digging and find some cool stuff. So that same company ended up with another estate of model kits and die-cast, and this one was very much European. Lots of German, lots of Formula One, lots of Ferrari. That's what this vibe was, and that caught my attention instantly. I love that kind of stuff. If you've been watching for like the slightest bit, you'll know that I'm a big German car guy. Love Porsches, love Audis, love Mercedes, all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy about that. So I went and kind of kicked down the door, not really. I was there probably I was like 5th in line at that point when they opened this morning. And from what I had heard from a buddy in the model car group, was that there was a local reseller who got in and bought probably like 1,500 kits from him, so I was not expecting there to be a lot of good stuff left over. And after seeing the line, yeah, like people went in, and here, I guess I'm just rambling, so here, take a look at the Ford again. I went in, and, everyone just kind of, you know how it is when there is a rush like that. Just people are going to the shelves, grab a bunch of stuff. There was one guy who was definitely must be a reseller because he was just kind of scooping stuff off the shelves and putting them in his basket and just kind of buying anything. So he got pretty much all the large scale stuff, which, yeah, I'm sure there's money in. I don't really have an interest in it. I think I only have like maybe 2 large scale kits and I don't have any plans to build them. So I'm fine with that, but he was grabbing a lot of the good stuff, and there was a few guys there for the die-cast, but there was probably like 3 other guys there for model kits, and so we were having to kind of work around each other. 2 of them were super cool. I had a couple, casual conversations with them, but there was definitely that one guy who was, we were all in his way. But still, regardless, you gotta work for the good stuff. But yeah, so let's start getting into the haul. I got a lot of stuff. To be fair, I was kind of in a bit of a zone, and I was just kind of grabbing some stuff that I thought looked cool, and was going to just grab whatever I liked, then kind of negotiate from there, figure out what I wanted, what I didn't. Price came to be about $10 to $15 per kit, so not bad. Ended up kind of keeping anything that I was mildly interested in. So let's get to it. But we will start with some die-cast, which, again, I'm a big die-cast collector. I'm not as much anymore, but I'll still grab some stuff. So I grabbed these 2 old Tomica Porsches. We got a 930 on the bottom and a 935 on the top. I don't know the age on these. I would guess probably maybe late 70s to early 80s. Now, Tomicas are interesting because they always have such nice box art, and then the models don't really live up to it. Like this, it's a little on the boring side, but it is cool. Let's see, does this have a date? 1977 trademark, so it's, yeah, probably 80s then. But yeah, they're kind of cool. Does the wing open? No. They probably did that so they could do the different wing variations on the Porsches from this era. But yeah, these are kind of cool. Again, I love Porsches, so saw these, wanted to grab them. That one's actually kind of cool. Silver with the, the surfboard fin design. I know there's an actual word for that. Whale tail. Some blemishes on the roof, but I think that's just from packaging. But yeah, these guys are kind of cool. So, grabbed these. There was a bunch of die-casts, mostly 43rd scale stuff. But I only collect 64 scale, so I grabbed a few, even though these are 61 scale. But yeah, oh geez, that should have dated it. The cars are from West Germany, so no newer than, testing my history. Was that 91 or 95? Dang, I should know that. Okay, well, we'll just say no newer than the 90s. Okay, so we'll move on from there. I did grab a couple small scale things. Again, I don't tend to deviate far from the 24/25 scale, but I could find them interesting. The vast majority of the kits that this guy had were 43rd, and a lot of them came from this company called Starter, which I know a little bit about, but I haven't paid a whole bunch of attention to. So I grabbed 2 of these. And surprise, surprise, they're both Porsches. So on the top here we have the 911 Rothmans Dakar, and then on bottom we have the 959 Dakar. So I have not opened these, so let's take a look. Got some photo etch there on the top, which is cool. Looks like a set of wiper blades and maybe a skid pan or a skid plate. Here's a look on the inside. There are the instructions. So yeah, this is the 959. I know these kits are kind of cool. Actually, I don't really want to unpack this too much. It's really nicely packed. But yeah. Again, I don't do a ton of small scale. I've never done any small scale stuff really, except for the one I'm working on right now, which is 1/35th scale. So here's the 911, no photo etch. I'm just curious what this looks like, because I think I know what it's trying to replicate, but oh boy. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's the car you're replicating. Is this the one I'm thinking of, where there's a big air cleaner in the rear window? I think so. Yeah, I think because they have the 917 style fan in the rear window. Could be wrong, but that's what I was envisioning. So yeah, those are my two starter kits. I'm not packaging that well. Okay, I'll do that off camera. And then I have two more small scale, which, surprise, surprise, again, are Porsches. Now, these are ones I have never heard of. It's from a company called BAM, B-A-M. And I bought these mainly because I like the cars, but also I kind of dig the vibe of these, okay? So, it's a Pringles can. So yeah, it's like a piece of, like, you know, whenever you buy a poster or something, they'll ship them in these, like, mailers. So, yeah, it's like a little mailer like that. BAM. This is, of course, the Kramer Porsche, one of my favorite cars, most favorite cars of all time. I love a Kramer. So, you open them up, and it's a die-cast kit. We're in a little bag here. And there it is. So it's a die-cast kit. There's the base and the interior. I also just got back at the time of filming. Last weekend was the Rolex Monterey event, and I just got back from that, which I always love. So I got to see a bunch of Kramers racing. So yeah, I just thought these were cool. I've never seen a model kit packaged in a poster mailer. Here's the instructions, kind of curled up in there. And then I got another one. Is this a 935? Yeah, 935K3. So this is the long tail version. Or not the long tail, sorry. There are two versions. Okay. So I wonder if you can do the long tail. I doubt it. Like the Moby Dick car, if you're familiar. Yeah, so there's that. So let's go ahead and compare it to the other kit. Just packaged up. So yeah, you can tell maybe the difference in the tail section there. Also, it looks like a slightly smaller scale, but it really is just the difference in the body kit on these cars. So yeah, again, I have no idea the history on these. I have not looked them up. I have not done anything. This one also comes with a little plastic case. Looks like something you'd use for slides. Oh, look at the tiny little turbofan there. Does that... Look at that. That's a cute little turbofan. That's adorable. I wonder if this was already started. Because those already look like they have decals on them. So, these may have been started, unless they come from the factory partially done up like that. I don't know. And then let's see if there's a date on the instructions. Oh, it's in French. Here we go. Distributed Boutique Automoto Paris. No date. So nice. So I will look them up. I'm sure they'll be on ScaleMates or something. So yeah, you know, just bought these because I love Kramer Porsches. I love anything from the turbo era of Porsche racing, the 70s into the 80s, is my favorite era of race cars. And I'd never seen these kits before, so I thought it would be kind of a unique addition to the collection. Alright, and then I think that is it for the small scale, so let's go into the larger. Now again, if you're not into European stuff, you're not going to be into this video, because I think I got one non-European. Well, I got two. So we'll start off with the only American. This is a last-minute edition. This is the IMSA Mustang, which, again, turbo race cars, you gotta love them. So I love the 70s through 80s, into kind of the 90s IMSA era. Not as much the 90s, but yeah. So this is a kit I've kind of had my eye on for a bit. And I wasn't really going to grab it, but decided last minute that I would, it's there, may as well grab it. So I I didn't really get the chance to look through all these, but the few that I did looked like they were all complete and sealed. So hopefully they are. But yeah, I love wide body race cars. So pick that up. That was the only American purchase. And then we'll get into the only Japanese one, which is, this is one I just kind of grabbed on a whim. But this is the Honda Today, little K car. And, oh, it was originally a motorized kit. Let's see if it still is. I know that's the thing with a lot of Japanese kits, is that they are motorized. Yep, there it is. So there's your motor. Red body. I don't really like curbsides, but I'll still grab some interesting ones every once in a while just for the collection. So, jeez, this is not going on right. Oh boy. There we go. Kind of a funky steel wheel design. Look how they had the holes in the wheel. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so that was one of the first kits I actually grabbed. So that is the last of the non-European. So where should we start? Let's start Italian. All right. We have the SC by Ertl. Oh, and my cat has found us. I am talking, so I must be talking to her. Are you going to be annoying? Yes? No? All right. Stand by. Alright, I gave her some scratches, so hopefully she'll be good. So this is the SC by Ertl Lancia Beta, or Beta Monte Carlo race car. Ooh, open this up. I think, if I remember right, this is a 70s era. Though I thought Ertl picked them up later. Oh, they're actually... yeah, made in Italy for Ertl. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I can't remember what era this is. Ooh, fun. Comes with some bonuses. A Walden Model production out of San Jose. Okay, so a local-ish company. Racing buckle seat. Or racing seatbelt buckle. Boy. Yeah, so 24 scale Lancia. I have a couple SE kits. I find them very interesting. 1979, all in Italian. Look at that sun fading, alright? I don't know if it'll pick up, but, or not even sun fading, but, so, look like right here. Boom. Can you see how white it is here? Sorry, getting distracted. No date on this either, but there actually is an engine, which is cool, because that's another thing. This era of kit don't always have engines, but this one does, so that's kind of cool. So, yeah, alright. Gotta keep it moving. We're not, making this an hour-long haul video. So I'll try to speed it up a little bit. And then I have one more Italian kit. And that is the 365 Daytona Coupe, or sorry, Daytona Spider by, does it say Oshima? No, this is Fujimi. Fujimi, yep. This is a Fujimi kit. Alright, so again, coming off Monterey Car Week, this kind of thing is in my mind right now. Beautiful Italian cars. So we'll take a quick look at this. I like how they include that as part of the box art too. All photos of real car. No? Okay, you're not going to want to... There we go. Looks like a little bit of crushing in the, or not crushing, but a little bit of bent in the windshield frame, but not bad. These are kind of cool cars. I like them. Very sporty looking. So, looks like it is kind of molded in color. They give you some roofs that are molded in like this gaudy orange. This is like, ooh, like squash orange or something. But the interior is not molded in that color. Okay, so, I don't know. But yeah, it's nice that they gave you the up top. I do love a convertible with the roof up. I think that is an underappreciated look. Not every convertible has to always have the top down. I get that's kind of the party trick of a convertible, but yeah. All right, so we got a lot of German stuff left. Let's go by make. I have 1 Mercedes, 3 BMWs, 4 Porsches. Man, I bought a lot of stuff. Let's do Mercedes first. So this was actually a kit that was on my want list for a while, and that is another SE 190E. So I have the Italeri rebox of this with the Senna version, and I wanted this one because I love the stock wheels on these. And yeah, so I don't know, is this version, does it come with an engine? I can't remember. I know the later models did, but I don't remember if these did. And they weren't necessarily the best looking engines. I think they were kind of vague. So molded in hood, and it's not one of the cuttable ones. So yeah, this did not come with a engine, so it must be different than the SE ones. Or not, sorry, from the Italeri ones. Roof is a little crooked on it, but not bad. But yeah, just another kit for the collection. This is another, what is it, like 80-something? Made in Italy. No dates, no dates. Okay. But yeah, I love the box art from the SEs of this era. I want to get some of the Ferrari 250s. I think those are really cool looking kits, the short wheelbases. Alright, on to BMWs. I bought 3 BMWs. I'll start off with the Tamiya. The 635 Racing, aka the Shark Nose. This is their art car, so I've actually seen this one in person, where they actually painted it to look like the insides of the car. Also, you'll know that Top Gear did a joke on this, where they painted it and they had like the dead horse head in the trunk. Yeah, full detail, so it has a full engine. Though, honestly, with this, it'd be kind of funny if it was just a curbside and you just had the decal of the engine. But I love this body style of BMW. I would not build it as a race, I don't think, but I just love shark noses. I have, actually, at the last sale this guy had, I bought the Monogram 635. So I've now bought 2 of this era BMW from him. Totally different estates, too. Alright, now we'll go ahead. I got 2 Fujimis. We'll start off with the 320i. So this is going to be pretty similar in body style to the 24-hour BMW I built this year. This is, of course, Fujimi's view on it. I just saw that box. Here it is. So, Revell first Fujimi. Happen to have that handy. So, but this one is a curbside. So, there's that body. Got some nice wheels with some turbofans. Gotta love a turbofan. So that is that. And then the final BMW is going to be a 318i. So also by Fujimi. So similar series, turbofans, coupe. I guess we're calling them aero discs here. Yeah. Another curbside. Dang boxes. I do like how they separate their boxes in this era. I have the second section just for the body. And then there's that guy. Alright. So now on to everyone's favorite. By everyone, I mean probably just me and maybe 2 of you guys. The Porsches. So where do we start? Look at it now. I have a lot of convertibles. So let's do that. Oh, that's cool. I never noticed that. Okay, so here is a Fujimi. But yeah, here's a 911 Cabrio, which these are kind of funky. I don't like the Cabrios, especially the ones that have the hard cover on the top. I really don't think those look that good. But the comment I made to myself, like, oh, that's interesting, actually has the embossed Porsche on here. So if you run your finger across it, it actually is embossed. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, let's take a look at this guy. So this actually does have an engine. Oh, and it does have an up top. Brilliant. And the windshield is in great shape, thankfully. So, yeah, so there's that little guy. Great looking body. And it does have an engine. All right, yep, there it is. Okay. Cool, that just made that a lot cooler because I was not expecting that to have an engine. But Fujimi usually does. At least in, I don't know, the Enthusiast model, right? I think that's the one that usually has an engine. And then from the same series, I have the Targa. Targas definitely look better than the Cabrio, in my opinion. This thing is packed. It was not packed well. So yeah, got the phone dials, one of my favorite wheels of all time. And it's the same body. Okay, so it's the same body. You would just have the roll bar for the Targa. And then you have the phone dial wheels. That's not really in focus. So, yeah. Alright. Then we have one more Fujimi, that's a Hasegawa. I'll save that for later. And then we'll finish off with the last open top, and that is the Revell 911 Carrera Cabrio. So again, not necessarily a fan of the convertibles, but I love this era of Revell, where they just have a photo of the real car, and then in this case, like a painted Autobahn or something. So this one has the molded-in convertible top. That's interesting. So, yeah, I really like this era of Revell. This is the German era of Revell, when they were all made in Germany. In what year? 1983. But yeah, they just kind of put photos of the cars on there, so grab that. This is kind of one I've been casually wanting. And then finally, last but definitely not least, if this sale happened a month ago, I would have been stoked. Because this is a kit I was really wanting for a while, but I just recently bought some direct from Japan. Because they're so hard to get here. The Hasegawa 944 Turbo. I love 944s. This time next year, if I'm not driving a 944, I have failed in life. This is, I really do want a 944. They're totally slept on cars because no one thinks that they're proper Porsches, which, they're kind of not. If you want to get into the technical details of it being a Volkswagen, blah, 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 whatever. They're great cars. They're a pain in the butt to own and work on, from my understanding, but they're still cool, and they're still cheap. And you can't say that about Porsches. Even, early 2000 Boxsters are now getting pricey. So, yeah. But like I said, I just bought 2 of these from Japan. I do have a video on that I'll put out at some point. But, yeah, I am glad to have another one of these, especially for this price, which I think for this one I paid $15, which this is a $100 kit on eBay. So I am stoked. So now I'm actually going to build one of these, maybe soon. So we'll see. I do kind of really want to build one of these. Decals aren't in the best shape, but that's not too bad. One thing I found really cool about these when I was opening the other ones is they actually give you a piece of fabric, and it's hard to tell, but it is pre-cut. I don't know if there's going to be an easy way to show that. But there are perforations in the material, so you'll go along the line. I'm tracing the lines right here. So it looks like it's almost like a peel and stick fabric sticker that you can add the carpeting to the car, which I think is brilliant. So that's something I really want to look into. But yeah, so that is my haul for the last month. Again, other than the Mobius, these all came from an estate auction, or not an auction, but an estate sale. Missed out on a lot of cool stuff, but still grabbed some great stuff nonetheless. So yeah, hopefully soon I'll have a video about something I'm working on for you guys. I have not been working on stuff lately. But yeah, so for now, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.